You're going to enjoy this. First round draft pick, Dax Hill, joins us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. This young man has got it all: extreme athleticism, extreme position versatility, unbelievable intelligence, tremendous football intelligence. Got an older brother, Justice Hill, running back, the Baltimore Ravens, that has played in the National Football League. So he has a little idea of what he's getting into and life in the National Football League, what it's going to be all about. I think Dax Hill is very, very poised and very, very ready to have a very strong rookie season with the Cincinnati Bengals. And position versatility is going to be something that Lou Anarumo will take advantage of. And don't forget about Darren Simmons. I think we'll see Dax Hill playing some special teams as well with that 4.38 speed. Amazing. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And as always, we are in studio at First Star Logistics, and we certainly do appreciate the opportunity there. Our special guest today, and we'll have to put special in capital letters, is Dax Hill, first-round draft pick, Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome to our podcast, my man. How you be?
I'm good. Appreciate you guys for having me today.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. So we're going to do a little, this is your sports life, Dax Hill. Not only football, because you're a heck of an athlete. We're going to take it back to the high school days. So Dax Hill is the pride of Booker T. Washington in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You were, a serious Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Oklahoma. Played in the U.S. Army All-America game, 5-star recruit. Tell us about your football career in high school, first of all.
Yeah, it started ninth grade. Didn't really play as much. I had a lot of guys in front of me, so I was really just, looking at the older guys and seeing how they played their game. And from there, I played a little bit, not too much my freshman year. And from there, that kind of started my free safety. Started out as free safety my freshman year. And then from there, it stuck, and played that all throughout my high school career.
You played varsity free safety as a freshman.
Yeah,
That's big.
Apparently they had some trust in me. At first they didn't really, trust me as much, and so it kind of incorporated throughout the season. And they saw I could play, so I started a little bit my freshman year.
How about that? That's you're a good solid 6 feet, over 190 pounds. How big a guy were you in high school?
I was about 185, around the same weight. Still toned. Not too light, but had a good, good solid weight on me still.
And I know you were really a solid basketball player as well. Tell us about your basketball exploits.
Yeah, really, that started when I was in kindergarten.
Really?
My first love, first passion, for sure. Yeah, that's how it started. And I thought I was going to college for basketball. It didn't quite work out that way, but yeah, I played all throughout. My middle school, high school, and I stopped in high school actually, but played since I was a young kid. So it stuck from there, and stopped my sophomore year. So I was pretty good at basketball as well.
So were you a shooting guard, a point guard? Were you a wing? What position did you play, and what was the strength of your game? Were you a scorer? Were you a defender, rebounder?
So I was a point guard slash shooting guard, depending on what game, the opponent we were facing. And then for the most part, I really had everything in my arsenal. Really, I could do pretty much anything they, tell me to do. I was more of a distributor, but I could do as well, like shooter. I was a good rebounder, a good defensive, guy. So could do a lot of different things, but distributing was like one of my best attributes.
So how old were you when you first dunked a basketball?
I would say I was in seventh grade.
Seventh grader. Man.
Yeah,
Because what your vertical, I think at the combine, what was it measured at? 37?
it was horrible. Well, I didn't really test as well at the combine, but pro day I improved. I think it was a 38, 37, something like that.
Man, You think you've ever had it hit 40? You think you've ever had a vertical of 40 inches?
Well, supposedly I was hitting 40 in high school, but I'm not sure how true that was. But I
Good
was
God,
hitting in the 40s, in high school.
man. Any other sports, track and field? I mean, with your explosiveness and your, I would think the track coaches were drooling to get you to run and jump a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. When was that? Freshman year, I was drooling a little bit. uh, yeah, first year I ran, and then a little bit of my second year. So not too. That wasn't like my best sport, but I ran it for like 2 years. So I just gave that a try.
I do know that academics have always been important to you, and you've always excelled. You're a high achiever, not only in the sports arenas but also in the classroom, and you're also get a very high football IQ to go with the academic part of it. Who instilled that in you? Did your parents? Who basically said, let's make sure we take care of the academics. Let's dot the i's and cross the t's there as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, my parents definitely had a high standard for me growing up. I feel like that's a testament to how I am today, how I carry myself outside of football. And so, huge, shout out to them. Um, and then, yeah, it really just started. Whenever I was younger, I always applied myself. I was more of the person. I wasn't like supernaturally smart, but for sure, I had to apply myself, and that's how I eventually, created great habits. And from there, it it was just instilled in me from there. So I would say whenever I was younger, I took my academics serious, and it kind of just carried on throughout high school and college.
Now you've got an older brother, Justice Hill, fourth round pick of the Baltimore Ravens as a running back. Did you guys growing up, did you compete against each other? Did you play on the same teams? Were you rival captains and picking teams to try to beat each other up, or how did that relationship unfold when you guys were both young?
So I mean, really, the only time we were able to like play on the same team and actually kind of compete against each other was high school. Um, like I said, I grew up playing basketball, so I really wasn't like a football guy. He was a football guy growing up,
Uh
and
huh.
so like we didn't really compete in that way. But we were like for sure like competing out like at home, like 20 game of 21. We always try to compete in that aspect. But yeah, it was some good rivalries growing up between us. We had some battles here and there. But yeah, we had a few.
Did you guys fight a lot? Did your mom have to break up a lot of wrestling matches, fights between you and your brother? Or did you guys get along great?
I would count on my one hand. I mean, the amount of times we fought, but we were pretty close. For the most part, we didn't really come at each other like that.
That's good. That's good. Um, I would think that your brother, he has to be a help to you in terms of, all right, this is what it's going to be like. This is what you can expect your rookie year in the National Football League. I already went through it. I know everything's maybe not exactly the same on an organization by organization basis, but here's kind of an idea of what you might be looking at and looking forward to. Has that been a help for you?
Yeah, he was giving me some insight on what to expect, what not to expect, and like you said, different organizations do different things, and so he spoke from his perspective and kind of got a good feel from what he has, dealt, his throughout his first 3 years. But I mean, told me a lot of different things. Take care of your body, nutrition, making sure that's part of, that's I would say, on the field, that's definitely important. But outside of the field, he's kind of emphasized taking care of your body, eating the right things like that. Of course, learning the playbook when you first come in because it's a whole new system,
Right.
environment. So really just adjusting to the new lifestyle really has been a big emphasis he's told me and creating your own schedule. I've kind of realized now, I mean, we're kind of, as rookies, we're kind of doing a little bit more, than the veterans, but you do have your downtime. So really just taking advantage of that, that time as well. So he said all those things.
I do know that you're putting the time in terms of studying the playbook. I've seen you and Tyson together in the locker room with your iPads, just making sure that you're getting putting the time in that you need to put in. And you guys seem to have bonded a little bit. You seem to be cut from the same cloth kind of thing. You and Tyson growing close.
Yeah, I knew him actually when I was taking my 30 visits. We
Huh,
had both visited the same team, one of the teams, and that's how I kind of built that relationship, with him. And so, small world, we both ended up, being drafted at the same spot. So that was a, good thing to happen. And so, yeah, right when we first came, kind of bonded well. Both safeties trying to learn the playbook. It's a lot that we have to, know and retain on a daily basis. So that's something that you can incorporate, building that, that relationship and then working together, see, bouncing, ideas off each other, which how you process things, how do I process things like that. So it's been a good relationship so far.
that's great. So it's yourself, Dax Hill, and Tycen Anderson, two rookies, two safeties who can play slot corner. By the way, I mean, coming out of college, you were in my research, you were the number one slot corner. I mean, everybody had Dax Hill, number one slot corner, as well as your ability to play safety. I mean, you can cover that slot as well. Let's talk about your collegiate career, though. I mean, you end up five-star recruit, the number one guy out of the state of Oklahoma, top 10 recruit. Go to Michigan, and then thought maybe Alabama, and then back to Michigan. What was that process like for you as you were trying to make that final decision on where to go to college? How tough was that?
Yeah, I mean that is a very important part of my life, and I really wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. It was more, than football for me at the end of the day. I think that's solidified it for me. Alabama, they testament to them. They've, done a great job, historical program, no doubt, hands down. But, for me, it was really just, what Michigan had to offer for me, outside of football. And the relationships I had with them, I built, I still have a relationship, with the coach that recruited me to this day, to high school. So I feel like that's very important. I built a lifelong, relationship with the coaches, while I was getting recruited there. So I feel like that was the biggest reason why I was I was the reason why I actually ended up going there. So that was the reason.
Academic, all academic teams, as well as a great football player. Again, the books, the studies, very, very important, and high achiever at both levels. What do you remember? What will you remember most from your experiences at Michigan as a student athlete, as a football player there?
Man, I remember like it'll be every day. The one thing I won't forget is, actually my freshman year, I would come home like 9:30 and go to the dorms. I'll wake up at like 8:30 and I'll come back to the dorms at 9:30. Like I'll be done with practice and then we have study hall for like another 3, 4 hours. Like it was something like they really took it serious up there. So you had, like I said, I applied myself and I had to apply myself at Michigan. So I had to put, some time in, academically as well.
So what's your degree in, Dax? What are you getting your degree in?
African American Studies and a minor entrepreneurship.
Nice. So you're gonna be an entrepreneur, huh? How about that?
Hmm. Yeah,
If you,
that's.
if
I
you
mean,
come up
that's
with if you come up with a good idea, you know, give me a shout. Maybe we can partner up or something. Yeah, I'm sure you probably have
yeah.
some good business ideas. Um, so tell us about how you were utilized. First of all, I guess before we get into that, adjusting to the National Football League. When you play at the Big House and you got 100,000 people, and you're playing in the Big Ten, you're playing other big schools around the country. Adjusting to life in the National Football League in terms of playing in front of people, that's no big deal, right? I mean, that's second nature. You've already done that, been there, done that.
Right. Yeah. That's. I mean, like you said, 110, sometimes 100, 12, 13,000. I mean, you really, I don't really pay attention to it. I mean, whether it's 60,000, 70, 100, like you don't really feel it, the
Right.
fans, so it's kind of just, just being out there on the field.
So how your versatility, your athletic ability, and your ability to do multiple things because of that athletic ability. Lou Anarumo is drooling about that. He can't wait to get you involved in his chess game as a chess piece, and uh, get matchups that are favorable for you and for his defensive football team. How were you utilized at Michigan? Were you utilized in a myriad of ways, multiple ways?
variety of ways. Like you said, slot corner, and nickel, and slot corner, nickel/nickel, and free safety. So I really got that year under my belt, to understand different type of coverages, different different schemes, and why we run different things, and I have a better understanding of just a type of defense. Now transitioning to the NFL, I feel like I have a good grasp of the defense, and how anywhere anywhere I would be at, I would be comfortable playing. So. Mhm.
What about techniques? Are the techniques that you were taught at Michigan, are they similar to what you're being taught here in Cincinnati, or do you have to unlearn and relearn? Are you in that type of a process? What's going on there?
Really, just the relearning is just the playbook and terminology. But for the most part, football is football. At the end of the day, it's going to just be the same. Some there's different nuances that may be critiqued, but for the most part, it's taught the same and not a big adjustment.
Like you said, though, I remember that transition, that adjustment. It's like in college, you called something one thing, and in the NFL, a team may call it something totally different. So it's like you're in Germany, but you're speaking French. You're not speaking German. You're not speaking the language. So you have to
Right.
kind of get that language down, that terminology, and what they call things and how they identify things and all that sort of thing.
Mm.
But that process, I mean, it's certainly not overwhelming. I mean, it's something that can be done. It's just a matter of focus, right?
Yeah, focus and determination. Really, I would say for me, being determined to learn the playbook and being determined to help the other teammates, because I mean communication is very important to a defense. So being determined and willing to learn the playbook and communicate is very important.
So how's it going with the veteran players now that the rookies and veterans have commingled and meshed a little bit and have done some workouts together? I know, offense and defense are still staying separate in terms of phase two of these organized team activities. You're not matching up against the Bengals weapons offensively yet at this point in time. You're doing some individual stuff and then progressively, coming together as a team and implementing it as an entire defensive football team. How's that process going? And the involvement that the veteran players have in that as well.
Oh yeah, it's been really well for for the rookies, the young guys, and for me as well. I could say I feel like the coaching staff has done a great job. Just getting us all acclimated. Going to a whole new way of playing, a whole new NFL system. I feel like we've kind of adjusted a smooth transition into the NFL, and really just like I said, learning the playbook and you know um, interaction with the veterans has been great as well. They've uh, you know been a helping hand whenever you need it, whenever I needed it. So it's been great, and yeah, it's just now it's just putting the puzzles together and stacking the days.
Besides your brother, who would be a mentor or mentors that you could point to and say, boy, they're very instrumental in my development as a football player and as a human being?
Um, I know a lot of different guys that are different teams, and so that are close. With me and my brother, mutual friends and whatnot. But definitely guys on the team. Mike Hilton, Von Bill, all the guys. On the defense has kind of helped me out. I've asked them questions on how to play certain techniques and what to look out for. When offense wants to run a certain play formation, things like that. So they've all been kind of hands on with me, and all the other guys that I really don't know. That's kind of fairly new. They've always been there, so they've done a great job with us, and so I'm ready for the future, near future.
The old saying, it's asking a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but coaches and players alike have been impressed with what your questions are. It's like this guy, he gets football because the questions that he's asking are not like elementary, they're deep. I mean, it's like
Right.
these are really good questions. It's
Right.
like we know this guy gets it because man, he's asking a question that a grad student might ask, not a freshman in college or
Right.
whatever. So do you take pride in that, in your understanding of the game of football?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, asking the right question. And I know, like you said, there isn't a dumb question, but having the right question will eventually lead you to understanding something that you might have never understood before. So, and then that'll actually get that other guy thinking, oh, I may need to be cognizant of that as well. So it's kind of just, like not just bouncing, questions off each other. I feel like that's, the most important thing. And that's something I stand by. I still ask questions because I don't know everything. And so I just, want to be always learning something, even if I feel like I do have it down. I still want to just keep asking, refreshing my mind, knowing that, I can eventually, be confident in making calls.
So are you a guy that you don't just worry tunnel vision about your assignment? You want to know why. You want to know why the coaches have you doing this. You want to understand everything going on around you, kind of thing. And,
Mhm.
therefore, you can play multiple positions, that position versatility, the mentality of it. And I'm sure it comes, hot and heavy, a lot of this installation. But
Mhm.
the retention, if you're understanding the big picture instead of just tunnel vision, does that help you
Right.
with retention of everything that's going on?
That's very true. For me, is really just knowing my assignment, and I really want to get to that point. And so that's like you said, installation. That's something new every day. So really, just learning what I can do, and then from there, um, seeing the whole picture is something I want to eventually get to.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.